Hey everybody, it's Erin Reed, and today we're going to make some artist training coins. These circles, I've already cut out a whole bunch out of some Derwent watercolor paper, and I went ahead and mixed a little bit of shimmering goodness from Crafters Workshop with the Heavy Body Acrylic Paint Raspberry Sorbet, not soiree, sorbet. I also pulled out a Heavy Body Acrylic Paint in Iridescent Silver, and the thought is to make some glammy Halloween ones. And these are left over from a card kit that I have, and I just think they're absolutely adorable. And I love the size ratio. So this is going to be the main focal point of each of the cards. But of course, I want to glam it up with a little bit of Crafters Workshop stencils. And since these are kind of like Halloween shabby chic, and the colors, so the colors I'm pulling are like obviously the gray, as you can see. And then I mixed it to get that kind of pinky tone that's in there. As you can see that there. Really fun. All right, so I picked out a couple of stencils, and to me, they're kind of like, they look like spider webs, but they're kind of like, and this one looks like it's got kind of like a spidery accent to it, but it's elegant. So that's where we're going with it. So the first one, I'm purely just going to go straight into the middle, and I'm going to add the pink. So here we go, just straight pink, and go all the way across. I'm really actually going to flip back and forth. I like using my palette knife for this, and I want to get into all those grooves. See how much easier that is. It's a silicone brush that helps just apply everything to this. And I want to get into all those little nooks and crannies, get everywhere, get that kind of pinky pretty tone on there. There we go, and then lift up. Look how pretty that is. Isn't that a gorgeous background? It almost just looks cool just the way it is. Okay, so the next one, I might as well just lay it right on that space. I'm going to off-center it and have a design like this. So I'm going to use the circle to my benefit. I'm actually laying the center of the circle right here. This time, now I'm going to use the pink again. I might as well. I'm going to use that pink again. I'm going to add my little dollop. And I didn't do a whole lot. And truly to get this light color of a pink, I added the tiniest little just smidgen. It's always easier to go darker than it is to try and go lighter. So I'm adding in, get my excess off. Make sure to hold your stencil nice and firm. If it wiggles, you're not going to get a nice clean edge. So one stencil, depending on if you lay it, especially if it doesn't cover the entire page, you can use it for all kinds of stuff. You can get all of it on there. And I mean, it's one stencil ends up having, if you look, a completely different effect. So now because I've used a different portion of the stencil, oops, there goes my stencil on the ground. Fantastic. I'm just kind of cleaning up the edges here, rounding it up, and then letting that dry. All right, I'm going to pop that back in here. Heads up the stencils, you don't want to let them sit around for too long because you're going to end up letting them get kind of gross. And you're going to get the paint stuck on there. This time I'm going to kind of go a little bit in the middle of it, but I'm going to add a little bit of my iridescent. I'm going to go for the silver. So this is just a silver heavy body paint from Crafters Workshop. I'm just adding a small little dab using a different palette brush. You can always add more paint. And this is one that's kind of iridescent, therefore it's going to kind of have some fun. I need to add some more paint. And look, that's just so cool. I just love that. And it still has that kind of wispy look to it. I mean, it's just very cool. All right, so since I have this one out, we're going to switch gears and we're going to go to the other stencil and move these guys out of the way. And I'm going to go centric right in the center with this one too. Oop, that's got a little something on there. It's okay. The edges I'm not too worried about. Place this right in here. Add my blob of, I'm going to go back to the silver again. This one. And get it on there. When you're doing this, you want to make sure you have a nice good craft mat below. And I'm really not putting a heavy coat of stencil on there. Really nice and light. Make sure you have a craft mat that you can clean that's underneath. So that way it doesn't cause a problem. Look at that. Isn't that fun? It Everything is, if you don't over gunkify your stuff, yeah, let's go on this side here. I'm going to switch again and go back to the pink. If a little bit of the gray kind of blends into it, I'm not too terribly worried. But if you use minimal amounts, you won't get yourself super messy and make a giant mess. I tend to make a giant mess. But, so get in there. This is one I think that looks kind of like a spider in a way. Of course, I grabbed way too much. Oh, that's kind of cool. It's got that band of silver right there. I didn't even mean to do that, and that looks really awesome. I'm gonna have to make sure I don't cover that part up. All right, so before we do anything else to any of this, that has to dry. I'm gonna go clean up all my stencils. So I just went through with my heat gun real fast. It's kind of boring to watch it on camera. And all I did is I heat set it. I'm just going to tell you because it's loud. And I got it to the point where I put really close and got it to bubble and blister and get it to like have some fun texture to all of the paint and the mediums that are on there. And it reminds me, as you see it kind of like on these streaks, almost like it's like little dewdrops on like a spider's web. Even though these aren't spider's webs, they have that kind of feel to it when you think of it, and it looks with the Halloween-y, and that's kind of the vibe. So you don't have to have a spider web stencil to get that kind of feel. I mean, look at the corner of it, especially if you use it in a small space. What could it look like? But it's like a glammy spider web. I think this is the best one right here. As you can see, the ones that are like spidering out right there. It's really cool. All right, all I'm doing now is I'm taking some Nuvo drops. I got two different kinds. This one, they're both crystal drops. This one is in Wisteria Purple and Liquid Mercury. And I'm going to enhance and add some decoration. Now, this one's really easy, and I'm going to do the opposite. So Liquid Mercury is one of the ones that have like the pinky tone, the one where I mixed the raspberry sorbet. And the ones that are the two gray are going to get the purple. So this one's simple because it's just little dots right here on the corners. Oops, and try to not do what I just did and give 3 little dots following the pattern of the stencil, going all the way around. So for this one, all I did is I went around the outside, kind of where the spokes are, and then I did a line on the inside, also where the spokes are. For this one, I'm going to go between each of the groups. I always like getting it started just because I want to get it clean. But like right here is a good spot. Oops. Pushing too hard and getting too much. You can always do a quick wipe off real fast if you do it quickly enough to start over. So I'm going to keep going around. At this point, now that I've done them, and I've just really played with the shapes of the stencils as to where I placed all of the dots, I followed the lines, found like a pattern to go through when every other one, when every one, like this one, you can really see how the pattern is going. They really need to dry now. You need to give them a little bit of time just to kind of set and dry before you mess with them. Otherwise, you're going to smear it all. It doesn't take a super long time. If you want to wait overnight, go for it. But if you want to wait just like an hour or so, they should be good to go, and therefore you can start layering. At this point, and I'm just going to speed up because this is pretty much the end and you'll see pictures. I'm going to be taking each of the little pieces here, the little beautiful little cutouts, and finding a fun one and just kind of placing it top. I might try and do it just off center. I might do it right in the center. This one I might come like right off. I'll have to, play around with them. But, there's lots of really cute pieces that can decide which one I want to go where. Maybe it's going off. And yes, I will be covering up a lot of it because I have some really cute little pieces of sequins that definitely fall into the color pattern. And it's very simple. And I'm actually going to do a couple right now. I might not see a whole lot of them, but I can do a couple on some of these where I want to have a little bit bigger of an accent than a Nuvo drop can get. So right here I have my super tight glue. And all I'm doing is I'm going to come in, and so for instance, I want to put a nice large one right here. I'm going to put a little dab of glue. Don't put a huge amount. And I want to place a sequin, and I have a little tool that helps, a quick stick that helps pick up the pieces. And I want a nice dark color. So it's got a sticky end to it, so I can pick up a sequin and then I can place it just like that. So I can come in and I can put my glue. Let's say I want to put a sequin here, 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 here. So I'm going to put one in all of those spots. I want to put one here, and I can go through and add my glue to all those places. Just don't forget where I put them. And then come in and add my sequins. So I'm going to add a little bit of gold to this one. So I'm going to add some gold. So as long as you don't overlap where your other pieces are, you can continue to add these. I'm almost tempted now because these are so cool, possibly leaving a couple of them blank. These pieces, I also have some smaller pieces, and I might change my mind and use a smaller because these are really large. I have a whole bunch of them. So if you see a different piece than what I've already shown you, that's why I kind of switch gears. All right, I also wanted to put some on here. I think I'm going to go with the small black ones just to add a little bit of a different color. So this glue is awesome. It's got a lot less stuff in it than some of the other glues that are on the market. It's also super cheap, and sorry, my fingers are sticky from touching I was wiping some of the Nuvo drops, and so I've got a little bit of some sticky, you can see some stuff sticky, everything's sticking to me. So there's a coupon code below for you guys to get your own super tight glue. It's a % off, and it's one of the cheaper glues that are out there, which I think is great. And it just has less stuff in it, so I'm not so worried about if I touch it, the kids touch it. You know, it's nice. So keep adding. So I'm going to add some more sequins here and there, let everything dry, and then I am going to pop up using, whoa, don't let that happen. Let these things dry. I might have to cover that up. I'm going to pop up my little items on my cards, just as cute as they are. So this one might kind of go, I don't know, I might use a smaller piece for that one. I'll have to play around with those, but you'll see what they are, because that's it. All I'm doing is adding a couple of sequins and then adding the layers, popping them up so that way they don't have to fall flat, because these Nuvo drops, when they dry, they're going to dry dimensionally. So I think that's pretty cool. So thanks so much for stopping by as I continue to add these. You'll see pictures of what all these look like when we are done. Don't forget to subscribe. Supply links are all down below, and I will see you guys again later. Bye-bye.